But first up, she's a two-time Pulitzer Prize winner whose latest book is Leadership in Turbulent Times, America's Historian-in-Chief, Doris Kearns Goodwin. Hey, what a great pleasure to meet you. How are you, Doris?
All right.
Thank you for coming on. It's great to see you. I won't burden you with all the Supreme Court talk on this show tonight, but I just want to ask, because we often hear from historians that, oh, we've seen this before with Congress people who have acted lousy in presidents. The Supreme Court, I feel, was always kind of on a pedestal. Is this a low, or were they acting like idiots before?
I don't know. I think it is a low in my lifetime, which is not short. I mean, the partisanship that we saw, two alternate realities during the Kavanaugh hearings,
right,
one and the other that had nothing to do with each other. But I can go back as an historian, because I've lived with guys in the past. There were lower moments. And just imagine this. In the 1850s, there was a congressman from South Carolina, and he came into the Senate floor, and he hit the Massachusetts Senator, Charles Sumner, over the head with a cane, falls into unconsciousness. But the most important thing is in the South, he's made a hero, just as Kavanaugh's been made a hero now. They all had canes. They gave him a golden cane. But in the North, here's the positive thing. It mobilized the anti-slavery sentiment in the North. They got stronger. The Republican Party, the party of Lincoln then, produces Abraham Lincoln. So if we can awaken from this new low and the citizens can get active again, we can make something from this moment. I believe it.
I'm glad you're optimistic.
You've got to be. There's no choice. There's no choice but to be optimistic. What's the other thing? To just wallow in it. We can't.
No, we can't wallow. We can, I mean,
wallowing's no fun. You'll get toilet paper stuck in your shoe. I don't know what that meant, except that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
You're on HBO. You let it fly. Okay. Well, you know, when you said he was a hero in the South, it reminded me of the guy who heckled Obama and said, "You lie." And then he was a hero in the South.
Right.
Maybe the South is the problem.
Well, maybe we should have let them go.
Oh.
No. In fact, that's the whole point.
And in this, I play the South all the time. When you're in the cities, it's just like anywhere else. It's really, it's not a state thing. It's a city versus country thing, isn't it?
Well, you know, that's what happened at the turn of the 20th century. You had a very similar situation to now. The cities were growing. The people in the rural areas felt cut off from them.
Right.
You had a lot of new inventions. The pace of life was speeding up. The Gilded Age, gap between the rich and the poor. But luckily then, a leader came along. There was a lot of popular spirit, a lot of anti-elitism. And Teddy Roosevelt came along, and he was able to channel all that emotion into something he called the square deal between the rich and the poor. I mean, he was like Trump. He came in from a privileged background, but he learned empathy through politics. He learned to go to the slums and see what it was like for these other people to live.
So he's not like Trump.
No, he's certainly no. Empathy is the most important characteristic in a leader, and it's what's missing in the current president.
Well,
somebody who
it's
could
part of a whole menu of things. And you know, I know historians, and you are certainly preeminent among them. I would consider you primus inter pares of all the...
Primus inter pares. I'd love to be that.
You are.
Thank you.
First among equals for you non-Latin speakers. Like Zeus was primus inter pares. Okay, so, all right, Zeus. So here's the question. But you all seem to say, I guess you're all optimists, that, you know, oh, we've seen worse before. Have we? Did we ever have a traitor president? Because I really do think we have a traitor as a president, someone who plainly and out in open sides with them, not us, attacks our Justice Department, our FBI, our CIA, says he agrees with Putin. I could go on with the list of things that I consider traitorous. Somehow his agenda and Putin's are exactly the same all the time. Coincidence? Possibly. Did we ever have that?
I'll tell you, I don't know that we need to go to that direction right now. The Mueller investigation will show us whatever is going to come forth on that. Right now, we just have to understand that we have a president with no capacity to grow.
Well, what could be more important than if the president is a traitor?
No, what's more important is that we have to persuade other people of why we have to go against Mr. Trump right now.
Because he's a traitor.
No, because using that language is not going to reach the people that you want to reach.
But what language would you use?
Here's what I'd use. I'd use the fact that this man has no humility, which is an important part of every president. That he has no empathy, that he has no resilience, that he says that the reason he's so humble is because the Pope is very, very humble, just like Donald Trump. I mean, you can't think that way. That you can't be a person who says that the most important thing is never to lose, that you always have to win. Every president I've studied has gone through adversity, and they came out stronger at the other end. Ernest Hemingway said, everyone's broken by life, but sometimes people are stronger in the broken places. He says he's never experienced loss, and that's why he has the very, very best temperament of anyone who's run. Use those ordinary kind of things, and that's what will persuade people. They can see that this is not a leader. This is not a man who's experienced any kind of empathy for other people. That's what you have to do to persuade people.
Have we ever had a leader who was such a cult leader?
Well,
I feel like more than any president I've ever seen, it's a cult. No matter what he does, they stay with him.
well, you know, it's interesting. I mean, I think when FDR came into the presidency, people believed in him so much, but the difference was that his word was his God. I mean, he made his promises real. When he first got in, somebody wrote him a letter and he said, my roof fell off, my dog's run away, I don't have a job, my wife is mad at me, but you are there, and now everything's okay. But the point is that he made everything okay. He gave those fireside chats, and people felt he was actually talking to them, and he made good on his promises. That's the important thing, to keep one's word, which is what not President Trump has done. People felt so close to FDR that they felt like he was actually in their living room when he was on the radio with them. There's a story of a construction worker running home one night, and his partner said, where are you going? He said, well, my president, he's coming to speak to me in my living room. I have to be there to greet him when he comes. That's the kind of president you need, who can deal with the citizens. They feel like he's their friend. That is not the same thing as being a cult president, where they just believe whatever you say somehow, but you're not giving them what they really hope for. That gap
So
is
we
huge.
never have seen this before, really?
We've never seen this before.
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, we've had other presidents
Right.
that have been pretty bad, but
Right.
not to this level of the relationship with the citizenry, I think.
And do you think if in 2020 he loses the election, he'll leave? Because Hillary Clinton now is on my page saying, no, he may not.
Of course he'll leave. I mean, we have to
Of
believe
course,
in the
but we've said,
Wait a
of
minute.
course he will about so many things, and then he, of course he's not going
Well,
to...
maybe they'll give him a room in the White House somewhere, and he can be by himself, surrounded by other... No, we have to believe in the institutions of our country.
Oh, I believe in the
He
institution.
will be carried out if he doesn't want to leave.
Okay, well, I mean...
I do. I believe. Do you not? You have to believe in the military. You have to believe in the other institutions of the country. The checks and balances will step forward if he's voted out.
Yeah.
If the people say he should be gone, and that's the answer. We have to awaken the citizenry right now. They can no longer be spectators. You've got to believe in the people.
I'm not sure we're living in that era anymore. And also, the people with the guns like him.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who has the guns?
No, it matters who has the guns, but you're being much too pessimistic. I got to do something with you. I got to make you more optimistic. Honestly.
I got to do something with you.
No.
Well, so you don't think it'll get violent?
It's possible it could get violent.
Oh,
and
well.
one of the things that Lincoln...
I think I'm bringing you around.
No. Here's the thing. In fact, there was
Okay.
violence in the 1830s and 40s, and Lincoln gave an amazing lecture in which he said that the rule of law was what had to be reinstituted in people's minds. And he said that everybody should be reading the Revolution and the Constitution at night to their children, like you'd read the Bible to them. And then if we remember our history, we'll remember the ideals of who we are, and we will not allow these things to happen.
Did you think Donald Trump would ever get the nomination?
No?
I did. Did you think he could win?
So you're a better predictor than me. I'm telling you. But it doesn't mean it.
But you're a better
We
historian.
ignore history at our peril. If we
Okay.
don't look back at
That's-
these other times
right.
when a leader came, look, they got us through the Depression, FDR did. Abraham Lincoln got us through the Civil
Right.
War. And LBJ, my LBJ, who I worked with when I was 24 years old, he had bipartisanship in the Congress. Those two sides came together: civil rights, voting rights, Medicare, aid to education. We've done this before, and we can do it again.
All right. Thank you for making me an optimist. I appreciate you coming by. Doris Kearns Goodwin, everybody.